As you can see, I have two rectangular box here. This is because I want to be drafting both the front basic bodice and the back basic bodice together. So that's why I'm having these two rectangular shape here. Here will be for the front and here will be for the back. So the shoulder I'm using it's 15, and 15 divided by 2 it's 7.5. So I'm going to note it down. 7.5. Then the neckline, since it's on our pattern paper, we don't have any style yet. I'm going to use just the standard neckline, which is for the front. It will be 3 by 3. So I'm going to note it. That's the wideness 3 and the depth 3. 3 by 3. And then for the back too, I'm also going to do same. The shoulders 7.5. And then the neck, the wideness will be 3, same as that of the front, while the depth will be just 1 inch. Feel free to alter the neckline whenever you want to cut on your fabric. So the next is to take my shoulder slope, and I'm taking my shoulder slope which is 1 inch. So I'm going to come down by 1, and then I'll connect it where I came down by 1. I'm going to connect it to where I have the my neckline. That's the wideness of my neckline, where it stops. So the next thing I will do is to go ahead and take my horizontal line. By my horizontal line, I mean my bust line, waistline, and the rest. From my shoulder to my bust line, it's 10.5. 10.5, which is here. Make sure your lines are straight. Make sure it is straight. Then from my shoulder to my waist, it's 17 inches. 17 inches. Please make sure your lines are straight. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. We all know that our front half length and the back half length are not the same. So the front half length, my front half length, it's 17, which is this 17. Then the back half length, it's 15.5. It's 15 to this. It's supposed to be here, 15.5. I want to make sure my lines are straight. So I'm going to connect the dots. Ignore this dot here. This is my back half length. Then from the shoulder to the to my hip is 27, which is this. Then you know that the difference between my front half length and my front half length is 17 inches, while the back half length is 15.5. So the difference between the two is 17 minus 15.5 is 1.5. So I'm going to subtract that from the hip. I'm going to subtract that from the hip line, which is 1.5. I hope you understand. Please, if you have any question, let me know on the comment section. Our front half length and back half length are not the same. They are not the same. That's why sometimes some people might make some clothes. The front will, you know, the front will come up while the back will be down. They won't be the same. So take note. Of course, I explained why I'm reducing it by 1.5. That's the difference between our front half length and back half length. To get the chest line, or we can also say that's the armhole where we'll be curving. It's you can use this formula: 36 divided by 4. That is 36 divided by 4 plus 1.5, which is 7.5. And take note that I'm not starting from here. I'm starting from where I have my shoulder slope, 7.5, which is here. It's going to be same for both the front and the back. Seven point five. So this is going to serve as our chest line. Then I'm going to draw a straight line to connect this to this. That's where we'll be having our armhole curve. To get the armhole for the front, basic bodice, what we are going to do is to take the midpoint of this. What I have here is 7.5, and the midpoint is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75, which is here, 3.75. So I'm going to come in by 0.75. 0.75. That's that. Then I'll now draw a straight. I will now connect this dot, this line. I will now connect from here to here. So this dot where I have my midpoint. So to know where we are going to extend our armhole, I'm going to divide my bust. That I'll take my bust measurement, which is 36 divided by 4. It's 9. 9. I'm going to add 0. You can decide to add 0.25 or 0.5 ease allowance, for ease allowance. But for me, I'm going to take 0.25. 0.25 is okay, should be okay. Then I'm going to connect, draw the armhole curve. Draw the armhole I need to see. So that's that for the front. Then for the back, I'm also going to take the midpoint, which is 7.5 divided by 2, 3.75, which is here. And then take the my bust measurements, which is 36 divided by 4, which is 9, then plus 0.25 is allowance. It's here. So our curve is going to extend towards here. Okay. So the next thing is to take our dart. For the front dart, it's going to start 1 inch below the bust line and end 2 inch above the hip line. So for my bust span, which is nipple to nipple, it's 7.5. 7.5 divided by 2, it's 3.75. So that's what I'm going to mark. I'm going to note it. 3.75. 3.75, which is here. Then I'll come down by 1 inch. Then here I'm also going to note 3.75. I'm trying to make sure that my lines are straight. 3.75. Then I'll come up by 2 inch. Then I'll connect. Trying to make sure that I'm correct. Yes. So you see. So the next thing to do is to take ½ inch on both sides. I'll mark 0.5 here, 0.5 here. Then I'll connect. Then for the back dart, it's going to come 1 inch below the that's 1 inch below the chest line and end 2 inch above the hip line. Remember that my bust span is 7.5, so I divided it by 2, which is 3.75. So that's this. That's, yes, it's here, 3.75. And I said it's going to, I'm going to come down 1 inch below the chest line. And then for the back and for the hip, I'm also going to note 3.75 here. Then come up 2 inch above the hip line. You can see the difference between the front dart and the back dart. I also take ½ inch from both sides. So you can see the difference. The difference is that for the front, it came down 1 inch below the bust line and ended 2 inch above the hip line. While for the back, it came down 1 inch below the chest line and ended 2 inch above the hip line. So that's that. So the next thing to do is to take our bust dart. Some people call it bust dart, some call it side dart. And the side dart is the difference between the front and the back. The difference between the two is 1.5. Remember how we came about this 1.5? That's my front half length is 17 and the back half length is 15.5. So that was how we came about this 1.5. 17 minus 15.5 is 1.5. So that's what we are going to do. Remember that I said this is the nipple points here, which is 7.5 divided by 2, 3.75, which is there. So I'm going to go in by 1 inch because I don't want, after sewing it here should have a sharp point. So I'm going to go in by 1 inch, 1 inch, and then the difference, like I said earlier, is 1.5. So that's what I'll be doing. I will mark 1.5, and then connect it here. Connect it here. You can see it. You can also decide to, take the midpoint between this and this. 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75, which is here, and then connect it. So just know that basically what I took here was 1.5, and then I now note the midpoint and now connected it. This is because I'm going to go up by, I'm going to connect this place with 1 inch. Let me use my ruler to do that. I have to mark first 1 inch. So when cutting, I'm not going to cut straight to avoid any shortage. I'm going to, go this way, because when sewing you will be folding. So that is it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to, on the back basic, I'm going to mark 0.5. 0.5. What I'm doing is, I'm going to, if you notice, let me explain. If you notice, our back is not that flat. It's, it's as if it's like somehow curve a little, just at the center. There's a little bit of curve, not all that curve, but a little bit of curve. So that's why I'm going to, subtract, cut out this 0.5 inch, because I want the clothes, after sewing, fixing the zipper and the rest, it should have a very good fit. This will also prevent it, like after fixing your zip and the rest, it will prevent unnecessary excess of clothes, just coming out. So I'm going to start that. You can actually start here on this line, or you can still start where your dart starts from, which is 1 inch below the chest line, and then end 2 inch above the hip line. 2 inch above the hip line. So that's what I'm going to do. This will help you after fixing your zip. It's like, how will I even say it? It will be, the fit will be very, very perfect, very, very good. So that is it. So we are done with our full basic bodice pattern with side darts. So that's it. So I'll go ahead and cut. Please, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I'll be there to answer your question. But before that, please know that when placing on your fabric, here is on fold. Here is on fold. Here is on fold. And then for your zip, this side will be your zip allowance. This side will be your zip allowance. So take note. So let me go ahead and cut. So as you can see, we have our front and our back. Of course, you know the reason why we added this, to avoid any shortage, just to be on the safer side. So that's it. So I'll go ahead and fold it like this. So that's this how it's going to look. So when you eventually cut on your fabric and fold, the front and the back is going to be the same. It's going to be the same. Now it's not the same, but when you eventually take in, because this is the difference between this and this, when you eventually sew it, it's going to be the same. As you can see, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. So that's that. I hope you find this tutorial educative and you learned something. Please, if you do not forget to give me a thumbs up, comment and share with your friends. If you have any question, like I said earlier, let me know on the comment section. I'll be glad to answer your question. So till I come your way next time. Bye bye.